Now we're going to come in with this Pro Wrap Color Fast 404. And we are going to come down on the red axis. With one wrap. We'll cinch that off. And we're going to come back down here and do that again on the blue axis. And then we're going to come down on the red axis. All right. And then what we'll do is we'll just pack this thread pretty lightly. We're just making sure it's in there nice. Nice and tight. I'm going to go back the other direction. Back this way. All right. And then we'll go back down here towards the tip end. And we're going to come down on the blue axis. All right. And we'll snip that off. then we're just packing that thread. Okay, oh, one more right there. All right, then we're going to come back with the gray, and we're going to do 2 wraps. Down on the red axis. All right, do our second one down on the red axis. All right, then we'll cut that. And then we'll pack those threads. Again, not a lot of pressure. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing on the blue axis. Okay. And then one more on the blue axis. All right, and then we're going to pack the thread on the blue axis. All right. And then now we're going to come back at the top and come down on the red axis, if you will. All right. It's one. Another one on the red axis. All right. And then I'm going to come back and pack those threads. All right. And then we're going to repeat that again, this time on the blue axis. And you can see, I mean, it's quite a bit of work. But I think you guys would agree these colors are already starting to look really good together. And I think once we start to add more blue in here, and then next step, it's just going to start to really build, and we'll really be able to start to see this 3D look coming to life. What I mean by 3D, it gives it depth. That this technique, you've seen me do it on other bait nets before, other rod wraps, is it gives it depth. And sometimes, like when I stare at it, it looks like you're looking into essentially a box. And I am just trying to get this tape to hold this thread until I get done with this thread wrap here. All right, and that's that second one. We're going to go ahead and tie that off now. Then we're going to come back with our burnishing tool on the blue axis and pack the threads. Again, not a lot of pressure, because what I don't want to do is skip this burnishing tool across these threads and have one of these other colors pop out from where I've got them burnished down at. But you can see that it's starting to come together a little bit. Starting to come together, and you know, as we lay down more thread, we're going to start to see more of that 3D look that I was talking about, where it's going to start to kind of give it some depth. All right, we'll add another piece of tape down here. All right, and then I want to make sure I keep track of my accesses, if you will, or axes. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with the 404 Color Fast. And on the red axis, we're going to go down with 2 of these blues. And then I'm going to cut that off. Come back and do that again. And we're just laying these 2 threads down. This is where we're really starting to make that middle transfer from the gray to the blue color. All right. Then we're going to do that again on the blue axis. Okay. And then we'll cut that. Again, the blue axis. All right. And we'll cut that again. Now we're going to grab our burnishing tool. And we're going to pack these threads. All right. Oops, sorry guys. I'm going to come back over here to the red axis. And we're going to pack these threads. Okay. So we got those down. And now what we're going to do is going to go back to the tip end up here. And we're going to do the same 2 wraps going back towards the butt end. Coming across on the red axis first, of course. All right. All right. Then we're going to repeat, this time on the blue axis. right. And then one more on the blue. One more on the blue axis here. All right. We're going to come back with our burnishing tool. Red axis, pack the threads. Again, not a lot of pressure. I'm just gently applying a little bit of pressure just to move these threads over alongside each other and make a nice, neat, clean, uniform appearance. Okay, and then we're going to do that on the blue axis. All right, now we're good to go. All right, I'm going to go back to the gray. On the red axis, we're going to make one pass. Okay. And then do the same thing on the blue axis. All right. I'm going to come down on the red axis. Just come right on down on top of there. Since this is just a one wrap. All right. And we're going to cut that. And we are going to use our burnishing tool. Come to the red. I'm just going to pack that one blue thread, make sure we're good. All right, and then we are going to pack that gray thread on the blue axis. Although I got it pretty darn close, I'm just making sure by just running that burnishing tool next to it. I just want to make sure I got it in there nice and good. And then I'm going to come back on down on the red axis. Okay. And I'm going to come down again on the blue axis. All right. And then that's it with the gray for right now. I'm going to set that gray thread aside. And then we're going to come back in with the blue, and we're going to do 3 wraps going down on the red axis. And it's pretty easy sometimes when you're using, lighter colors or colors that are matching, in this case, that gray kind of matching the silver metallic underwrap, right? Sometimes it's hard, or it's easy to, kind of come in and cross over, essentially lay this blue thread underneath that gray thread, which I want to lay it above it. And so you just got to, especially when it's just one thread, that's what you just got to kind of pay attention to sometimes. Make sure you don't cross over it, come underneath it or anything like that. All right, so that's one. And then we're going to go for 2. All right. That's 2. And then 1 more for 3. All right. And then I'll just again come back, pack those threads. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing on the blue axis. And again, taking my time to make sure I don't cross underneath that gray thread, that one strand of gray. All right. Pull that tight. And come back and do 2 more. Okay. All right. And get down here to the end. All right, and the blue axis this time, pack these threads. All right. Let's go back and forth a little bit, get those in there. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back from the top end. And I'm running out of tape there, so I'm going to have to get back and do some tape here in a minute. But I'm going to run back down now for 3 strands. From the top back to the bottom. On the red axis. All right. Yeah, we're gonna put a little bit more tape on here. All right, there we go, number 2. All right, that's number 2. And then number 3. All right. We'll tie that off. We're going to come back with a burnishing tool and then pack those threads on the red axis. Okay. Okay. And then one more time for 3 wraps on the blue axis. Again, taking caution not to come underneath that one gray thread. Okay, that's one. Two. All right, and we're going to do one more. And then I'm going to try something that I haven't done before. Not try, I'm just going to do something that you haven't seen me do before when doing this kind of pattern. So this is 3. Okay, so that's 3. And then we're going to pack these on the blue axis, if you will. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is do something that you usually typically don't see me do when doing this type of wrap. Usually what I would do is I would go to the next color and I would start the next color for the fade. But what I want to do is, because we have a lot of the silver as an under wrap, I want to tie that into the main wrap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a metallic silver, and we're going to do just one wrap, you know, down and back on both the red and the blue axis, if you will. And I think this is going to help tie this main wrap in to this under wrap. Because as we do the over wrap portion, we're going to eat up more of that under wrap, right? So the more wrap we do on the top, the less of the silver we're going to see below it. So I think by incorporating just one band of this silver will help tie the wrap to the under wrap. And I hope I'm making sense. But you just got to trust your gut and go with it, right? Sometimes. And I think it's going to look great. But that's what I'm trying to do. Or should I say, that's not what I'm trying to do, but that's the purpose behind coming in with the silver. Just one time is trying to bring, the purpose is to bring this over wrap and make it part of the under wrap versus just having metallic silver underneath it, although it'll look fine. Having some silver in the overwrap or the decorative portion on top of the underwrap. I think just ties it all together. All right. And then we're going to come down on the red axis. All right. And we're going to cut that. And before I keep going, I'm just going to come to the red. I'm just going to pack this silver really quick. All right, and we're going to go to the blue. Do the same thing. Oops. All right, then we're going to go down on the red. You can see I got that silver just on top of that blue, so I just adjusted that. All right, and now we're going to make one more silver pass down on the blue axis. Okay. Let me get that set. Okay, I'm going to put that silver aside for a second. I am going to come to my blue axis, just pack that thread. All right. Instead of fading in another color, I'm just going to keep going with the blue. It's just kind of a symmetrical pattern instead of fading it in. Since we've already faded it in and I brought that silver color in, I think what I'm going to do is we're just going to repeat and make 3 passes with the blue. And since that's what we did, you know, that's what the last thing we did before the silver is we did those final 3 with the blue, the 1 strand of silver. And then now we'll do these 3
with the blue. And then what I think we'll do is I think we'll continue that a couple of more times. So 3 blues, a silver, 3 blues, a silver, 3 blues, a silver, 3 blues. And then we'll come in and we'll start messing around with the other colors. That's my thought. So something a little bit different, not a complete fade of the colors in there. All right, 2. All right. I'll come in here, that'll be 3. All right, that's 3. And then I want a burnishing tool and pack these 3 threads in. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do that same technique on the blue axis. Again, paying special attention not to cross this blue over that silver. Okay. And then 1 more. Oh, excuse me, 2 more. All right. That's 2. And then 1 more for 3. I think I need to get some more tape on here. All right, that's 3. And then we want to burnish or pack the threads, if you will. And I really like how we laid that silver, that one band of silver in there between these blues. I really like how that's coming out. Even with all that silver thread below it on that under wrap, I think it looks really good. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments block. Let me know what you think of it so far. So what I'm going to do is put a little tape down here on the end. All right, and then we're going to start back up at the top end. And we're going to come down on the red. The red axis for 3 wraps. Not crossing over that silver thread. Okay, that's 1. Two. Okay. We'll come back up to the top. Do it again for 3 on the red axis. All right. Come down. Tie that off. And then we're going to use our pick, excuse me, our burnishing tool. Come back down and pack those threads along that red axis. Again, not a lot of pressure. I'm just rotating. I know I say that all the time. I just think it's important. All right. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit more tape down here on the top part. There we go. And then now we're going to come down